Up next on Valley News Live at 10, it didn't take long for West Fargo school leaders to take action regarding a teacher who's being investigated by police. North Dakota lawmakers are looking at ways to reimburse teachers currently paying for some of their own school supplies. And the ground rules are set for the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump. Valley News Live at 10 is next.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
We begin with a new development tonight at 10 involving the sudden resignation of a teacher in West Fargo. Valley News Team's Devin Fry joins us now live in the studio with what happened at tonight's school board meeting. Devin?
Mike, with no discussion, the resignation of Ron Thompson was accepted by board members at tonight's regularly scheduled meeting. The matter was a late addition to tonight's agenda, considering last week's sudden developments. Thompson was a teacher at West Fargo and Cheyenne high schools. When the school's principals found out that he was under investigation by West Fargo police, they notified staff and told them that he was not to be seen on any campuses and that they should notify them if he was spotted. They also said that Thompson was not to contact any of their students. His resignation letter was submitted last Tuesday. Now, since this is an ongoing investigation, police aren't saying anything at this time. Valley News Live has requested information from Thompson's personnel file, and we're told that that will be available for us tomorrow. Stay with us here at Valley News Live. We'll, of course, provide you with the latest information as soon as it's made available to us. Mike?
All right, thanks, Devin. According to the school district, Thompson was a teacher in the Career and Technology Education Department and also served as an advisor for the Technology Student Association. Fargo police continue to look into yet another report of an unnerving situation in a Fargo restaurant parking lot. The latest a Friday night at Red Lobster on 13th Avenue South, when the woman says she was walking to her car and a man grabbed her arm.
And I quickly locked the door and I turned, but he then just stood right behind my car, and I was like, I'm just going to run this guy over.
Police say they've responded to 6 suspicious activity calls within the last 11 days in this area. Police also urge you to call them if something similar happens to you. The city of Moorhead has a new mayor. City Councilwoman Shelley Carlson was sworn in tonight after former Mayor Jonathan Judd resigned. Mayor Carlson was elected to the City Council to fill a vacant seat in November of 2018. Her term is set to expire December 31st of 2022. Mayor Judd's term was also set to expire at the end of 22. He was appointed by Governor Tim Walz to fill the 7th Judicial District vacancy. In North Dakota, the House there has voted down a bill that would have allowed candidates for any non-judicial office to declare a party on the ballot. The bill was overwhelmingly endorsed by a House committee. Supporters said it was about transparency and knowledge of the candidates, but they were met with heavy opposition over making local politics divisive.
Local candidates were saying, if I have to declare a party, I won't get elected. And the second, in order to win my election, I'm going to have to declare party opposite of what I affiliate with. Those are 2 horrible reasons to oppose this bill.
This is the second time in 2 years a bill like this has failed. Last session, a similar bill made party affiliation a requirement. This version gave the candidates the option. A bill in the House is looking at ways to reimburse teachers that invest money in the classroom. The study will look at teachers' out-of-pocket expenses and programs that already exist to come up with some options that fits the state budget. This is money spent on things like tissues, books, and internet subscriptions.
If we've learned anything in all of these times of isolation, is how can we try to help each other's lives get better? And that's what I'd like to see happening right now.
The next step for the bill is moving on to the Senate Education Committee. North Dakota is running out of nurses. According to the North Dakota Area Health Education Center, the state could have a shortage of more than 300 nurses by 2025. In response, lawmakers are turning to the next generation and trying to keep them in North Dakota. The state legislature is trying to meet the needs with an ongoing, upcoming budget decrease. Last year, the state funding for the program was cut following months of rural communities struggling to find personnel. Supporters are trying.
They're going to invest in the community for a profession, and so this program fits so squarely into that.
Ask for funding is $400,000, but the committee chairman warned them that with the current budget situation, that amount may not be feasible. This could have ripple effects to the program because there are matching grants tied to the dollars they get from the state. Crews are on the scene of a plant fire in Minnesota. That's where fire crews are battling the blaze at a southeast St. Paul industrial building, sending up a plume of dark smoke visible on city traffic cameras. The fire appears to be at the AMG Resources. That's a company that processes and sells scrap metal. The crews are fighting the fire in frigid conditions with temperatures hovering around 0 degrees in the Twin Cities. No word yet on what caused that fire. Staying on top of the latest vaccine-related news, it's easy. Just check out the VNL Vaccine Tracker. Open your phone camera and point it to the QR code on your screen. Then tap the link that pops up. You'll have access to national and local resources at your fingertips. Investigators from the World Health Organization are wrapping up their visit to Wuhan, China, to find out where COVID-19 originated and how it spread. The WHO investigators are expected to present a summary of their findings before they leave China on Wednesday. This visit was stalled repeatedly by Chinese government in what experts believe as an attempt to avoid blame for the virus and its spread around the world. The Chinese Communist Party has wiped out social media in China of any admission or responsibility for the virus. That includes messages from the doctor who was one of the first to warn of the virus and eventually died from it. Experts believe finding the origin of the virus could take years. One possibility is that a wildlife poacher might have passed the virus to traders who carried it to Wuhan. 2 Minnesota boys are being monitored closely months after their diagnosis with a rare complication from COVID-19. Since the pandemic's onset, 66 kids in the state have been treated for multi-system inflammatory syndrome that's known as MIS-C. Liz Collins shares the setbacks and process as 2 families face a medical mystery.
It's not like they get out of the hospital and they're better or get right back to life as normal for sure.
We first met the Ashes in November, a week into their 13-year-old's hospital stay. Hudson's kidneys and liver were failing, and his heart had to be shocked back into rhythm twice. 3 months later, he tires easily and still can't play the sports he once loved.
I have to pace myself more than everybody else, and it's just, you have to be aware of what you're doing at all times.
Hudson's battle with MIS-C began after a COVID exposure in October. Like many kids, he never developed any symptoms. Doctors believe the inflammatory syndrome can set in weeks after an asymptomatic case.
I just didn't think of it being as bad as it got when I got it.
I bet, Jackson, you weren't too excited about having to go to the hospital again, huh?
No.
A flare-up of MIS-C sent Jackson Hoffman back to Children's for a second time. Doctors determined the 9-year-old needed to be on steroids longer after he again had a high fever and bloodshot eyes.
Once things start to get bad, they really get bad quickly.
Jackson also struggles with his stamina. Cardiologists believe it could be a year before he's back to sports or PE at school.
Our stories are so similar.
Many families have connected through social media as they navigate a path forward, hoping other parents will watch for signs in their own kids.
You never think it's going to be your child.
And take precautions.
We can do any little thing so somebody else doesn't have to go through that. It's just so important.
While no deaths from MIS-C have been reported in Minnesota, the CDC says 30 kids across the country have died from the complication. Signs to watch for include a persistent fever, trouble breathing, and stomach issues, bloodshot eyes, red and cracked lips. Even a swollen tongue or hands and feet can also be symptoms. Still ahead tonight on Valley News Live at 10, the second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump is scheduled for tomorrow. The latest on what lawmakers need to iron out in the next several hours. But first, tomorrow will be another Arctic day in the region. Hutch Johnson is in to tell us how low temperatures will go tonight.